Alright, so now that I have this, what I want to do, I turned off local and put XYZ rotation on for that way I can kind of move this around. I want to kind of stress something though. When you're dealing with an object that got put together, just like this, you're going to have to see this preview window that is occurring. If an object is outside the preview bounds, it'll have problems later on. So what I would definitely do is after you've grouped everything together, I know this is part of a different lesson, but definitely make sure you go into here. Deformation and hit unify. Okay, that'll unify it back down to its ZBrush friendly size. That'll help out later on. It hasn't done anything else. I mean, it's still the model. It still has the same resolution across the mesh, everything else. Okay, so if I wanted to get this over to a texture, let's say. Well, remember what I said. It has to share the same structure. Like if a square is a square, but I probably want something a little higher like this in order for it to share the same texture space. Now that stands true for a single object. Now that I have 3 individual objects out there all sharing the same texture space, lower is better. So I want something like this in order to share that space. Okay, so what I want to do is delete lower on them and then go into UV map and I'm going to choose AUV tiles. Okay, then I'm going to choose my texture. So I'll go texture 2048 by 2048. Sure, it went red. And then I can go in here and mount that texture in. And I could say new from polypaint. So now I have this. See how if it was a single object, it only took up 1/2 of it. But now that I have 3 separate objects, or three separate objects out there sharing the same UV space, lower polygon equals better. Just remember that law. Alright, so there we go. And now, yep, I can go in here if I wanted to, up the polygon ratio. I could turn this one off, and I could toggle between the texture on and off. I can go in here and maybe add some eyes. Maybe a mouth. Toggle that back on. New from polypaint, and that updates the texture. Okay, easy as that, really. What I don't like is this. Sometimes I'll forget textures on. Just like this, I'll go whoop, and then it won't show up until after I turn that on, and then I figured I messed it up. So just know that you have to toggle this on and off, and then you can paint on it, and then you can transfer it over. There we go. So that's your workflow with subtools. Now that I got, the baby kindergarten stuff out of the way, maybe we can go on to something a little bit different where, it's a little higher res character. We can see how that works out and how do we kind of stripe it across several subtools and maybe do some masking and stuff along the way. All right, so on with the more adult level classes. Fade out.